you guys. That was amazing. I think that's the loudest countdown that I have heard so far yet. So welcome to HDK. I'm really excited to be here with you guys today. Do you remember what series we are doing? Yep. Treasure Robbers. Great. So last series we talked about treasure builders, and this series we're talking about treasure robbers. Now, do you remember our big idea? Shout it out. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Guard your treasure. Awesome. We will work on that. That wasn't super loud. We'll work on that next time. Last time we met, I talked to you guys about pride. And do you remember how I was saying there was a game that I didn't really enjoy playing? Monopoly. And I promised my family that I would play it with them. I sure did. And you know what? The very first thing that I rolled was to go to jail. This is why I don't like Monopoly. But you know what? I actually had a lot of fun, and my family was very kind to me, and we had a great time playing Monopoly. So I told you guys that I would do it, and I followed through, and I had fun because I didn't let my pride get in the way. Today we are going to talk about greed, which is also we're going to learn how to be unselfish. And we have the Heron family who are going to do a craft for us. And we also have someone that you guys might know, Phil Van Ryan, who is going to talk to us a bit about greed. So I'm really excited about that. We are also going to have our special robber friend join us, Rob. So he is going to, oh, I hear a really odd noise. What? Oh, goodness, Rob. Rob, you don't look or sound too good.
No, I'm sick.
Oh, guys,
sick.
what should we do?
1.5
meters away.
Yes, good point.
Do you reckon he should go? Maybe we should take him to the doctors. Who is here as a doctor? Doctor in the.
No, don't. No, I don't need to go to the doctor. No.
Are you sure?
No, I'm sure.
Why don't you need to go to the doctor?
It's just my tummy.
Oh.
A very, very sore tummy.
Why is your tummy sore? Why do you think his tummy?
I did eat a little bit too much at Easter.
Oh, what did you have?
Oh, I don't remember. What did I have?
Oh, a Mars bar.
bars.
Well, one Mars bar is okay, I reckon. One Mars bar is fine.
I had lots of these little chocolatey things. Lots, maybe like a kilogram of chocolate. I had some I had like 4 Easter bunnies, and I had a Christmas cake. But,
Rob, that's way too... It sounds like you were being a little bit greedy, and now you're not feeling well.
But it was the chocolate and so yummy, but...
Why did you have so much?
Well, I didn't want to come here with all my chocolate in my bag, because if I came with the chocolate in my bag, I might have to give it away to people. I don't want to give away my chocolate. It's my chocolate.
Oh, you didn't want to share your chocolate. You wanted to keep it for yourself.
I definitely don't want to share my chocolate.
How do you guys feel when he says he didn't want to share with you? A bit sad. Do you know that God actually says in the Bible that he loves a cheerful giver, and that it's better to give than to receive?
You mean God would have been happy if I brought like chocolates and Tim Tams and Smarties and stuff to share with you?
Yes. Do you know that you would have made the kids feel happy if you shared your lollies? You would have made God feel happy because you were giving, and you wouldn't feel so sick.
I'll try to be a better cheerful giver, but I don't like giving. It's my chocolate. I'll try.
But God asks us to, doesn't he?
He does, but it's hard to share when it's so yummy.
It is. Well, what do you think you can do to make it better?
Well, I do have some left somewhere.
Yeah.
I could maybe go and try to find it. I'm not sure where it is. I could try to find it and then see if I can bring it back.
I think that's a great idea. What do you guys think? Yeah, all right. Well, we're going to let Rob go. Hopefully his tummy settles, and he's going to go find...
I'll go try to find some yummy things to share. All right.
Oh, dear. Poor Rob. That's what happens when we eat too much. Yeah, that's what happens when we eat too much, isn't it? When we're greedy, sometimes a consequence that can happen is you get a tummy ache. Well, while Rob goes and tries to find his lost treasure, we are going to get up and we are going to move and we are going to do some worship. Are you guys ready? All right, let's worship.
You work together for our good. You are loving. You give us more than we deserve. You are unfailing. And we are more than conquerors. Savior, in you our future is secure. By your power, we will not be shaken. We will not be silent. Sin is powerless. Our God is for us. Consider all that He has done. Our sin He carried, and by His wounds we've overcome. Now we stand redeemed, and we are more than conquerors. Savior, in you our future is secure. By your power, we will not be shaken. We will not be silent. Sin is powerless. Our God is for us. We will not be broken. He won't be defeated. Death is powerless. Our God is for us. We will sing, sing out, sing for the hope that's found in His love. We will sing, sing out, sing to our God. Oh, we will not be shaken. We will not be silent. Sin is powerless. Our God is for us. We will not be shaken. We will not be silent. Sin is powerless. Our God is for us. We will not be broken. He won't be defeated. Death is powerless. Our God is for us.
From watching what I do and listening to what I say, you can learn how to enter into heaven. Love everyone, rich or poor. Most of all, I want you to learn to love your enemies.
Judas, one of Jesus' disciples, was confused. He had followed Jesus for a long time, but he still didn't understand how to love everyone. He was also confused because he liked having money, and he always wanted more.
I know I dropped it here somewhere. Excuse me, I've lost some money. Have you seen my coin?
Does it have your name on it?
One day, Judas decided to do something bad.
Do you want to know where you can find Jesus?
Yes. Who are you?
I'm one of his disciples, Judas. I can show you where he stays for a price. Yes, take us to him. He's causing us too much trouble. The people like him more than us now.
We must stop him.
What will you give me if I tell you where he is?
How's this? 30 pieces of silver. Don't worry. No one will know what you've done.
All right, it's a deal. I'll come back soon and lead you to Jesus.
Even though I'm your Lord, I'm also your servant. I want to take care of you. And I want you to take care of others, too. Now listen to me. I have something very important to tell you tonight. Someone here is going to do something bad to me. Someone is going to betray my trust and love.
Who? Who is it?
Could it be me?
Or me?
Go ahead, Judas. Do what you were going to do.
What's going on? Hello, Jesus.
Oh! Come on! We have to protect him.
It's okay. I must go. Put down your sword. This is what God wants me to do.
In my wrestling and in my doubts, in my failures, you won't walk out. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. In the silence, you won't let go. In the questions, your truth will hold. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore. Safe to shore. Safe to shore. Safe to shore. I won't fear what tomorrow brings. With each morning I'll rise and sing. My God's love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. Oh, you are my light, my lighthouse, shining in the darkness. I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore.
My name is Winnie, and this is Tim. Sandra. Angel. Today we're going to do a craft about learning to be unselfish. And what we need is some coloring in pencil, something to decorate with. It can be some stickers and a pair of scissors, some string, and a glue stick. And Tim will take us through the steps.
So you'll download and print out these sheets of paper. On this one, you need to draw in 30 circles to represent 30 pieces of silver, and then decorate the heart however you want. Okay, after decorating, you'll fold it in half, so one on each side, and then fold in half again on each side so that everything is on the inside, all the decorations, and glue it down to the other sheet of paper. Lots of glue. Just glue that down. And we'll also need the string. So with the string, cut two sections the same length, only a little piece of string. Tie them together. My big fingers can do it. There. And then glue it down to greed. There. And the end result, greed to unselfish.
So, just like Judas, who gave Jesus away for 30 pieces of silver, that was greed. So, like when you don't want to share your toys or don't want to share your lollies, you want to keep all your lollies to yourself, or you don't want to share your parents with your brother or your sister, that's greed. And we don't want to be like Judas. But what we can do is we can turn away from greed and ask God to give us an unselfish heart. And when we choose to share our toys, our lollies, our treats, and our parents, then we are learning to have an unselfish heart.
Light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. And you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper. Light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are here, turning lives around. I worship you. I worship you. You are here.
All right, good morning, guys. My name's Phil, for those who don't know me or people watching at home. Welcome. Firstly, I just need to check who ate way too much chocolate last week. Just to check. A few of you? Cool. I know my kids did. All right, so we've been learning a lot about treasure this week, or this year, I should say. We learned about treasure building, and now we're going to be learning about treasure robbers. We know with treasure that it's precious. We know that. And we know that when we have something precious, we want to look after it. We want to protect it. So we tend to keep treasure close to us because it's important to us. But this series, we're learning about treasure robbers and things that want to rob us of our treasure. And building treasure in God's kingdom is a bit like building treasures. Maybe you've collected something that you love. When you build treasure in God's kingdom, you want to keep that safe. You want to protect it. And so we've learned about how we can build treasure. And then now we're learning about things that might rob our treasure. Can anyone remember the first rob that we had? The first robber? What was it about? Do you remember? No? Who remembers? Micah? No, the first series, 2 weeks ago, before Easter, there was a treasure robber. What was he about? Do you remember? Not quite. Last chance. It was about pride. Well done. Awesome. So it was about being proud and how being proud, when it hurts other people, can rob us of our treasure. Today we're going to learn about greed. Okay? Greed is another treasure robber. Now I looked up greed in a dictionary, and this is what it said greed is: an intense and selfish desire for something. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be money, could be chocolates, could be toys, but it's all about thinking, I want something all for myself. It's a strong feeling, and it's all about you, getting stuff for you, getting stuff that you want. Now, last week we celebrated Easter, and we had some amazing services here at Big Church, and maybe you did get some eggs. And Easter's an amazing time. It's probably the biggest time of the year for us Christians, because we remember when Jesus died for us and when Jesus rose again. But there's also a part of the Easter story that's greed. And we saw it in our Bible reading today. We learned about Judas. What did Judas love? Did it say in our little story today? Who saw what he loved? What did he loved money, yeah. That's what it said. He was greedy. He wanted that money. Okay? Maybe you were greedy at Easter and wanted all the eggs, but Judas wanted all the money. And his greed was so strong, so important to him, that he traded Jesus for money. He traded his best friend for how much? 30 pieces of silver. Now, I did look that up, and some people say it's not that much. Some people say it was a fair bit of money. But either way, would you trade your best friend for some money? And because Judas was so greedy, he missed out on the miracle of Easter. We get to learn about the miracle of Easter. Judas missed out. He traded the miracle of Easter, his best friend, for 30 pieces of silver. It wasn't good, was it? It wasn't good. That's right. His greed kept him separate from Jesus. He didn't get to experience it. And only a few chapters before today's story about Judas, Jesus actually warns people about greed. He was talking to a whole bunch of people in Luke 12:15. This is what he said to the people. He was pretty clear. He said, watch out. Be on your guard against all kind of greed. Life does not consist in an abundance of possessions. Life is not about what you've got. That's what Jesus said. It's not about having as much stuff as possible. Now, when I was growing up, I used to love watching nature shows. Does anyone like watching nature shows about animals and things? A few of you do. Sunday night was nature show night when I was growing up. And my dad and I would sit down every Sunday night after dinner, and we would watch a nature show about some sort of animals or some sort of amazing place in the world. And I remember watching one, and I've never forgotten it. It was about the driest parts of Africa. And in this part of Africa, there are no taps like we have. There are no water pipes. And in the dry season, it is super hard to find water. And the people in this area are very clever, though. They know that there's a way to get water even when they can't see it. And they use greed to find it. There's an animal that lives in Africa called a baboon. Has anyone heard of a baboon before? Yeah? They're sort of like a monkey guy, like bright colours, a blue face, red bottoms. And they are very clever animals. But baboons are very greedy. They are very greedy. And so the people in this area of Africa had worked out that they can use greed to get water when they need to. So what they would do, they would get a big jar. I've brought in my treasure jar here, my lolly jar. But they would get a big jar and they would sort of tie it so you couldn't pick it up. And they would fill it up with baboon treats. I don't know if baboons like minties. I put minties in, but whatever baboons love. They would put it in the jar and then they would wait. And the baboons they'd sniff out the treats, and they'd come and they'd stick their hand in the jar to get the treats out. So maybe it had a lid, I don't know. They would open it up. They would put their hand in, and they would grab as many treats as they could. But look what happens when you grab too much stuff for yourself. What's happened to my hand? What's happened? It's trapped. The baboon is so greedy that he refuses to let go of his stuff. He holds on to it and will not let go, and he's trapped. And then the people would just come up and they would grab the baboon and they would put him in a little cage for a few days in the hot sun. And eventually, he would get super thirsty, this baboon. Sorry, I'm going to let that out. He would get so thirsty, and then they would just let him out of the cage. And because baboons are smart, they know where all the secret water supplies are. And he's so thirsty that he goes straight to the secret water supply. And then the people just follow the baboon. And now they know where the water is, even in the driest time of the year. So, it's a true story. I remember watching it. It was amazing. All right. So Jesus had warned us about greed. What was wrong with the baboon? What got the baboon trapped? What got him trapped? He was greedy. He was so greedy that he got trapped in a jar and he thought, I'm stuck. I am stuck here and I cannot get out of here. What kept him in the jar? What's kept the baboon in the jar, really? Greed, yes, but what's kept him in the jar? His hand. His hand is full of stuff. He's holding on to it, and it's the most important thing in the world to him. He does not want to let it go. And as Jesus said, watch out, this is in Luke, be on your guard against all kind of greed. Life does not consist in an abundance of possessions. But that baboon is so greedy that he will not let go of it, no matter what. He's stuck. Is he really stuck? He thinks he's stuck because he doesn't want to let go of that stuff. Sorry. My hand's stuck. What would the baboon need to do to get out of this trap? This greed has trapped him. What would he need to do to get out of the trap, Jamison? All he has to do, now I'm going to have to do it here, sorry. All he has to do to get out of the trap is let go of his stuff. And he's not trapped anymore, but he refused to do it. Okay? So, everyone show me your hands. Show me your hands. Okay? If you're greedy, you only care about stuff for you, what's your hand going to be like? What's a symptom or a symbol of greed? What do you think your hand's going to do? Close it up. Okay? You're going to hold on to stuff, whatever your stuff is. Could be money, could be toys, could be the nicest clothes, could be the latest Nintendo Switch. It could be anything. Whatever it is for you, you want to hold on to it. What's the opposite of greed then? What do you think's the opposite of greed? Someone yell it out. What's the opposite of greed? Helpful, unselfish. I was thinking it's a G word. Ooh, that's a good one. Grateful's a good one. Generous. I was thinking generous. So what would a generous hand look like? If a greedy hand is closed, what would a generous hand look like? Open. Show me your open hands, guys. Okay. So that baboon had his hands closed, and that closed hand, all for him. He wanted all those treats, and he's trapped. But a generous hand, open. Okay, the opposite of greed. Greed's going to rob you of your treasure, guys. Whatever your treasure might be in heaven. Could be the things you do, the way you treat others, the way you show love to God. That's how we build our treasure. But when we're selfish, when we're greedy, that's going to rob us of our treasure. All right, so remember those closed hands, greedy, open hands, unselfish, generous. All right, I'm going to ask Melissa to come up for us and we're going to have a little prayer time. Can we have the lollies? All right, so let's say a little word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for your treasure, your kingdom of heaven, Lord. And we thank you that we can build our treasure through the way we treat others, through the way we speak, through our thoughts, and through the way we show our love to you, God. And we know, Lord, that there are things that want to rob our treasure as well, maybe pride, maybe greed. And we pray, Lord, that you open our hearts to those things, that we're aware that when we're being a bit greedy or when we're being a bit prideful, that you give us a little reminder through your Spirit that we can be generous, loving, kind, grateful, and not greedy or prideful. Amen.
Thank you, Phil. I had no idea about the baboons, and that was an awesome story.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. I like that idea that when we talk a lot about how God only asks things of us because it's the best for us, and he asks us not to hold on to all that stuff, not because he's a mean God, but because he loves us, and he knows that if we're holding on to that stuff, it actually is hurtful to us. The baboon didn't realize that by holding on to all that stuff, he was actually hurting himself in the end. Sometimes we do that too, and God asks us not to be greedy because he loves us and knows that there's something better for us than that stuff that we're holding on to. That's great.
It's interesting that our treasure in heaven
Yeah.
is not stuff. You know, when we have treasure, we protect it, we hold on to it.
Yeah.
But when we're generous, we're actually building treasure. It's really strange, isn't it? It flips it around.
It's very good. Thank you. Now, I've got a question for you.
Yes.
Do you remember what our big idea is?
I do.
All right.
Should I share
would
it?
like you to share it.
Guard your treasure.
Great.
Did I get it right?
Fantastic. You did, and I think
Oh, no,
it fits
high
in
five.
really well with what you said. All right. So we also have a key verse that we're going to say, and our key verse is, now it says, do store up your treasures in heaven, where moth and vermin do not destroy and thieves do not break in and steal. And that's from Matthew. Can you guys help me? 6, verse 20. Well done. And I messed that up a little bit, but that just shows you that it's really important to practice these things and memorize them so that you get them right, because it's God's word and it's important, and so I will need to practice that more. Next week, we are talking about revenge. I feel like I need to say R at the end of that because it sounds very piratey, revenge. But Oliver Mensa is going to bring us that word. Now, Phil, do you like playing? We all know that I'm not a fan of Monopoly. Do you like playing Monopoly?
I don't mind Monopoly.
Yeah.
It does take a long time. The kids' Monopoly is a lot quicker, we've learned. But
It's true.
I do love
I
Monopoly.
do enjoy the kids' Monopoly. What about Hungry Hippos?
Do love Hungry Hippos.
Good, Hungry Hippos. So our family activity for this week is for you guys to find a board game that you can play, something like Monopoly or Hungry Hippos as a family. And I want you to think about how sometimes it's fun in games, being a bit greedy. The Hungry Hippos, the idea is to get the most little balls. But how in real life, even though it's fun sometimes playing a game like that, in real life, how does greed affect your relationships? How does it affect your friendships? So I want you to think about that. Have a bit of fun, but then also remember what Phil talked about to us today about greed and about being generous instead of greedy. Right, well, that's it from us for today. So bye, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
All right.